Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So I'm back today to show you a new deck in Japan. But this one hasn't been winning one tournament. This one has been winning a whole bunch of tournaments. I've got 3 winning deck lists to share with you in this video. I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, there are plenty more out there. And it all revolves around Salazzle, Oranguru, and Unknown Hand. Yeah, this one might take a bit of explaining. So the new part of this deck, the thing that has made this deck come around, is Salazzle. Salazzle's got an ability which is literally just Heat Factory Prism Star. Once during your turn, you may discard a fire energy from your hand and then draw 3 cards. Cool. Nice. But what's the point? Well, the point is that we've got Unknown Hand. An Unknown Hand, now, this is the kind of new thing that's been going on. Now, Unknown Damage was actually banned in Expanded because we made a whole bunch of dumb combos. Well, now we got a dumb combo in Standard, and I want to repeat myself here. It's been winning a lot of tournaments. Because, you see, if you can get enough cards in hand, 35 if you're wondering, and then get Unknown into the active, you win the game. And Salazzle can draw 3 cards per turn, which means that if you've got 4 Salazzle out, you're drawing 12 cards per turn. And that's just with your ability. That's not using any kind of attack or any of that. That is just using your ability. That's a little bit silly. Now, there is one other really important new card in this deck, and that is Fire Crystal. You see, Fire Crystal lets you just pick up free fire energy from the discard. And there's 2 reasons this is an incredibly good item. Number 1, you need this for Salazzle. So you play a Fire Crystal, and you're playing 1 card, but then you pick up free energy, discard them all with free Salazzle, and actually, you're swapping 1 card in hand for 9 cards in hand. That's pretty important, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty important. But the other thing is that as you get later in the game, that can win you the game. You can use free Fire Crystal to pick up 9 cards, and if you did have 26 cards in hand, you've now got 35 cards in hand, and oh look, you win the game. That's pretty sweet. So where does Oranguru come in? Well, Oranguru reuses your stuff. You see, Oranguru has got the brilliant attack Resource Management. And Resource Management lets you grab 3 cards from your discard pile and put them on bottom of your deck in any order you like. So you get stuff back. And one of the main cards you're going to be wanting to reuse here is going to be Fire Crystal. Make no mistake about it, Fire Crystal is a phenomenal card in this deck, because either you're just drawing a bunch with Salazzle, or you are increasing your hand size and just stashing the energy. Either way, this is a very, very good thing. And that really is the basis of the deck. You use Oranguru to Resource Management so you can keep drawing cards. You use Salazzle to draw cards, and Unknown Hand to go and win. And what makes this so much better than all of the other decks out there that are using Unknown Hand, this is not some one-shot deal. This is not, oh, I've got that 1 turn, I hope they don't play a judge. This is, oh, you've played a judge, that's quite annoying. But I'm going to have 4 cards, draw 1 for my turn, puts me up to 5, then play 4 Salazzle, and actually then I'm probably drawing an extra 12 cards. And then actually, you're not going from, you know, a huge hand to 4. You're going from a huge hand to like 20 the next turn. And you know what? That's all right. Now, we'll talk about the other Pokemon in a moment, but there are a couple of other really key cards that we need here that we do need to have a chat about. One of them is obviously Heat Factory Prism Star, because it draws in the same way Salazzle does. Yeah, your opponent's probably going to replace it and blah, blah, blah. You know what? It's still all right here. We need Gladion. Now, Gladion's really important because you're probably only playing 1 copy of Unknown Hand, because you need everything else. So actually, Gladion just gets your unknown out of the prizes if it's in there. It is an absolutely crucial card, and you really need to be playing at least 2 of these, because otherwise you will have games where Gladion is prized and Unknown Hand is prized, and things go very, very badly. But the other really important thing you need here is Whitney. Whitney is absolutely huge. Whitney is the best draw card we've got for a deck like this. Now, Whitney starts the game being a very bad card. When you play the first Whitney, you draw 1 card. Drawing 1 card is not good. But you also draw 2 cards for each copy of Whitney in your discard pile. So the first Whitney draws you 1, that's pretty bad. The second Whitney draws you 3, that's not particularly good. The third Whitney draws you 5, and the fourth Whitney draws you 7. And then, of course, you use Oranguru to keep putting 1 Whitney back into your deck, so that every time you get it, you draw 7 cards. That's pretty gosh darned important. And while we're here, we should mention Looker. It's not played in all of the deck lists, but it's kind of cool with Oranguru, and we do see it played a little bit. It's not a must-play 4 of in every deck. Actually, it does appear in all 3 deck lists here, but it's a very good card nonetheless. Now, in terms of other Pokemon, we do see a couple. We see Ditto Prism Star, just as a 5th Salazzle, to be honest with you. Downside about Ditto Prism Star, when it's knocked out, it does go to the Lost Zone and can't be recovered, but it's a 5th Salandit. You've got to have it. It's not a 5th Salazzle, it's a 5th Salandit. And then Virizion GX. Virizion GX does have a really nice attack for a single energy that draws 2 cards. Pretty nice in the early game to get yourself rolling, but make no mistake about it, Virizion is here for the GX attack. The GX attack on Virizion is a bit of a risky one, but it just lets you put as many Pokemon as you like from your field into your hand, and yes, that would include Virizion. So you pick up all of your Salazzle and everything else on the field, leave yourself Unknown or maybe another Pokemon, because you don't want your opponent to be able to just knock out your Unknown and win the game. Unknown doesn't have much HP. This is super vulnerable to Judge and Marshadow. So what you do is you only play this if you are sure that your opponent can't do it. Otherwise, you don't. It's very risky. But there are going to be games where you know your opponent's playing 1 Marshadow and 1 Judge, and they've played them both. So you know that you're okay to go ahead here. Risky, but it's something to think about. There are no other Pokemon that you have to play here. We do sometimes see Alolan Vulpix just to get your Pokemon out and help in the early game. We sometimes see Tapu Lele to help you find supporter cards here. And we did actually see one of the decks playing Persian here. 1 colorless energy, 20 damage. If your opponent has 4 or more cards in their hand, discard cards until your opponent has exactly 4. This is really nice in the mirror match. It's really nice if your opponent has the audacity to drop something like a copycat or use an attack with the same effect. It's kind of fun disruption, and if you can disrupt your opponent, then that's going to give you more time to actually go ahead and get rolling with this and get all of your cards. Now that is the deck in a nutshell. There are some other cards to consider here. Unmanned Power Plant sees a little bit of play because that allows you to turn off abilities of EX and GX Pokemon. Nice disruption, slow your opponent down. Obviously, Rescue Stretcher is pretty good because it recovers your Pokemon, puts them back in the deck so that you can draw into them. You're pretty much always going to be behind on prizes here because you're not taking prizes, you're drawing cards. So Counter Catcher is quite nice here. Just purely in terms of stranding something in the active, trying to buy yourself that little bit of time. And Erica's Hospitality is a decent draw card because it's a straight draw rather than a shuffle draw. And that means that you can take advantage of the fact that you need a big hand, so you need to do straight draw. Your opponent may well overbench to try and slow you down, try and get rolling quickly, and you can draw more cards because of that. And we do also see a couple of these playing Spy Hood, which prevents all effective abilities done to the Pokemon to which it is attached. It's quite nice for turning off stuff like Decidueye that might be dropping damage counters, so, not too bad. Frankly, ladies and gentlemen, this is a fun deck. This is a deck which has been crushing in Japan. Here's a winning deck list. You can see this one plays quite a few different trainer cards, but really you've got the 4/4 Salazzle and the many Oranguru, also Persian. Here's a list which goes pretty similar, to be honest with you. There is a Judge Whistle in there. And here's a slightly more straightforward list, which really does just go full Salazzle and not really trying to play many other things. It's fun. It's really, really fun. I love this deck. It's weird. But we've been trying to make the Unknown work in Standard for a while, and they haven't been working. They've been working in Expanded. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Unknown works in Standard. Get ready to be annoyed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I think about the deck, but I would like to know what you think about the deck. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but please do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about other games that don't have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.